Hey David, what's going on here today?
Well, we're here at the Lunken airport. Gonna ride a B-17, I guess. Somebody drug me along for it.
Yeah, who would that be?
That'd be my buddy William, I guess. I'll use that term loosely.
We upgraded it a little bit each year, but it's a lot of sharp edges, a lot of bump areas. So as you go through the airplane, watch your head and watch what you're hanging on to. About right here, by the waist guns, are two sets of control cables. They're really good handholds. But when you grab on those, you're flying the airplane. So we don't want to do that. So we just grab something else. We do have some earplugs. We're very short on earplugs, but it's not that loud. We do have 6 sacks. They're in the left ammo box as you're looking forward by the waist gunner position. Feel free to use the 6 sack if you get a little queasy today. If you use it, take it off as a souvenir. We won't need it. Need to be seating and strapped in for takeoff and landing. As soon as we get off the ground, very shortly, watch for me. I'll be looking back through the bomb bay, and I'm going to give you a thumbs up. When I give you the thumbs up, get up and move around. Go any place. You can't go in the ball turret, and you can't go in the tail gunner's position. But any place else, up in the nose of the airplane is a really great place to take pictures. Well, we're going to have a full load of people today, so when you go down there, take a couple pictures. Don't camp out. Kind of move around. Come on back. 2 down there, 2 in the cockpit with me. I'll kind of be the traffic cop up there. And it's a great place to take pictures. When we get ready to land, we're going to be close, probably 5 miles or less. I'm going to give you this signal to sit down. Grab a seat. Doesn't have to be the one you started with. It's better if you can because the seatbelt's already adjusted, but we need to get seated pretty quickly. As you go through the bomb bay into the cockpit, it's pretty narrow. If you got glass cases, sunglasses, camera cases, things like that, has a tendency to tear them off and drop them on the doors. Just leave them there. We'll open the doors when we get on the ground. They won't support your weight. So it's too quick a trip down. We don't want to do that. They were designed at 100 pounds. So if they could drop the bombs right through the doors and it would open the doors. Watch the other plane there.
Grab a hold of it. What we do is just walk it through. The reason for this is not to alleviate hydraulic lock, but to detect it. So
We got a lot of places
we
on here.
detect one and then we stop. We fix it to
So you just want to get all the way around?
9 revolutions.
9 revolutions?
9.
No, no way. That's
Number 4. We really need another guy over here.
So you're turning them in direction of travel. I thought you turned them backwards.
Yeah. 6 coming up.
Okay, now we got the other side. Okay, we're going to the other side.
Yeah. 9 revolutions.
How many is that?
2 or 3, 3 to 4 max in the air. I have been in formation with groups in the last 6-7 years where we had 8 B-17s in the air at the same time, which was just absolutely mind-boggling. To sit there and actually see and experience that kind of, what was nearly a formation kind of flight. These guys were in the air with hundreds and hundreds and sometimes thousands of B-17s, and what they did during the war was just incredible. I quote roll call many times when they talk about the generation that saved the world, because in the beginning of the war they had to fly 25 missions, and on any given day, those guys, because especially during the beginning of the war when the Luftwaffe was at maximum, when the anti-aircraft was at maximum, there was a 30% chance on any given day that they weren't going to come home. So if you work the math out, 30% chance on any given day, and you got to fly 25 missions, the odds of you coming home, were pretty doggone small. So when we get a B-17 veteran on the airplane, we treat him like a hero because that's what he was. This one guy we had yesterday sat there and said, well, it was just me defending my country. And I said, yeah, it was just you defending your country. But when you think about the odds that were against you, and every day you knew that was going to be that way, for you to get up, climb in that airplane and fly that mission, that was just courage beyond, anything a person could ever imagine. So, I said, well, what took the place of the B-17 during World War II? And I said, nothing. I said the B-29 was an addition to the Pacific, and the 24 was out there, but during World War II, we had this infrastructure that was in place to support this aircraft. they didn't have the wherewithal of now coming out with a new airplane halfway through the war that was going to replace the B-17. So the day the war ended, this airplane became instantly obsolete because it was old technology, but during the war it was the mainstay of the Allies' daylight bombing. So it made it irreplaceable during the war. So we were talking a little bit about the ball turret, and remember I made the comment, that 30% chance of going down. When the aircraft commander made the decision that they had abandoned ship, they had 15 seconds to get off that airplane, because generally when they made that decision, the plane was they were losing control, so the plane would then go into what they call a death spiral, and it would just spiral down. And centrifugal force would pin the crew against the inside of the plane, and they would have to virtually crawl their way out to an exit to get out of the airplane. So they had a very short period of time when that abandoned ship was called to get out of the airplane and go. Now, the ball turret operator, it was so tight in there he couldn't have his parachute with him. So he had to drop the guns, pop the door, get into the inside of the airplane, hook on the parachute, and get out the door, and a lot of them didn't make it. So when people used to say, well, that was a dangerous place, I said, well, it was the safest place if the plane landed, because with the shape and the thickness of the material the ball's comprised of, it was somewhat safe in that ball turret. But if they had to bail out, the odds were very much against him of getting that chute on and getting out the door. Okay,
Pre-flight test
it is completed.
aircraft forms,
They are signed,
battery switches,
3 checked and on.
avionics master,
It is on.
fuel and oil,
We should have 1,050 gallons based on one measurement.
gear and system fuses,
They are in, gear is green, and switches off.
transfer valve and switch are off, cranks and extensions are on board, emergency brake and pressure.
It is noted at about 11. Those